What is your excuse? Have I got a story today for you about a person that I met yesterday, a gentleman at 24 years of age buying his 11th rental property. Amazing. My name is Chatto, and I've been a landlord for over 25 years, and in complete contrast to the video that I did just 2 days ago, about my friend who has been hemming and hawing and making excuses about buying his first property for the last 3 to 4 years. I met this guy 24 years old. I met this guy 24 years old, and he's the process of purchasing his 11th rental. So let's have a quick chat with Chatto about how he did it. So story time. Last year, late in the year, I came across a property, and it was a good deal. It was a property in a good area. The price was very good, and I got it under contract to purchase it. The issue was I didn't want to deal with it. So this property was a very solid property, but the tenants were way below market. The tenants were paying, I think, $1,200 a month when this property would probably go for $2,500 a month. And while the property was a good deal, it wouldn't cash flow at the price I was buying it at. It would more than cash flow at $2,500, but I knew it was a good deal. So I get this property under contract and I purchase it, and I don't want to deal with it. I'm lazy. So I talked to a buddy of mine who's a realtor, and I said, hey man, I got this property. I know anybody who might want it? And he's like, yeah, I know this guy. I think he's interested. So he goes, he shows the property to the guy comes in, he buys it from me. Cool. We get through the closing. I never met the guy. I talked to him on the phone a couple times, but great transaction. He gets his lender, gets his money, gets it through, gets it done, purchases the property from me. So good for him. So fast forward, some time passes. He actually was able to eventually get the tenants out. It took him a while. It took him like 6 months. He actually gave them security deposit for where they were going to be moving to. He helped them get on with things, and he helped them move along, and he got the property vacant. He completely renovated, and now he's getting it rented for $2,500 a month. So anyway, there was an open permit, and he called me. My plumber called me about it because we did change the water heater in the short time that I owned it. And my plumber calls me up and says, hey, they did the inspection and this one thing was missing. Can I go fix it? I said, well, I don't own the property anymore. So I called this guy up and I said, hey, this is what's going on. He's like, oh yeah, we had the inspection done. My plumber took care of it. Everything's done. I'm like, cool. He's like, if you have any more properties, let me know. I'm like, okay, I'll let you know. So long story short, a couple days later, I get a call from a buddy of mine who has a property under contract in the same town. Very similar property. The only difference is it's semi-detached versus a single family, and it was on a busier street. That being said, price point was about the same. It was a good deal. This one, though, didn't have a problem tenant. This one had a lot of work that needed to get done. So anyway, I reach out to that realtor again because he helped me with the first one. I said, hey, do you think this guy wants to buy it? Long story short, he gets involved. He's buying it. So I'm talking to the kid, and I didn't realize he was a kid. I'm like, he sounds young, but I'm like, okay. He sounds like he knows what he's doing. So I'm having a conversation with him, and I'm kind of giving him some chat with Chatto, right? Giving him some tips and stuff and that kind of thing based on my experience. And it kind of seemed like, you know what? He doesn't know everything. He doesn't know a lot. He's professional. He knows a lot, but he doesn't know as much as I do, right? Okay. And I'm like, so I said, you know what? Let me ask this guy how old he is. Like, man, I hate to ask this. I'm really curious. I'm like, how old are you? And he's like, oh, you probably don't even want to deal with me if I tell you how old I am. How old are you? He's like, I'm 24. I'm like, you're 24? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I'm like, and you bought I said, how many houses do you have? He's like, oh, I have 10. This is going to be my 11th. I'm like, what? I'm like, look at you, man. So I got to talking to him a little bit, and I guess the moral of the story is he just took action. Those 5 excuses that we had for the last video about why this person hasn't purchased this property, why he's been hemming and hawing, this guy isn't letting any of that affect him. We talked about I can't afford the down payment, right? That was one of them. Well, this guy is buying a property. Yeah, he found a lender. It's called a hard money lender, but he found a lender that's giving him 95% of the purchase price. So if it's a $200,000 property, he's got to come up with like 10 grand, and also financing 100% of the renovation. So for $10,000, he's able to pick up a $200,000 property. So long story short, he got past that excuse. He used something which is called hard money. So the second excuse that we had the other day was, oh my gosh, the rates are too high. I got to pay PMI. Wah, wah, wah. Well, this guy went out and he got a hard money loan, which has points up front, which has high interest rates. It's hard money for a reason, because it's expensive. It's hard to pay that kind of interest. But he said, you know what? I don't care. I want to get the deal. I want to get a rental property. And he did it, right? So he got over the high down payment. He got over like, oh, the interest is too high, right? Now, the next thing was, he's like, you know, my next excuse that I had on the last video was like, okay, well, I don't know where I'm going to be in a year. Well, this guy is doing this. The funny thing is, he is 90 minutes away. He lives an hour and a half from my market, and he's doing these deals. And he didn't let that stop him. He doesn't care he's an hour and a half away. No problem. I'll get it done. And it's great because he went out and he built a network, right? He went out and he found the local contractors. He found the local handymen. He found the people that can help him. He found a lender that he could work with, right? He found an agent that's finding him deals. Like, he went out and put in the work, right? That it doesn't matter that he's not local. He was still able to do it. And the next thing, right? Like, the next excuse that my buddy kept coming up with was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. Well, the last deal he bought for me, I should have taken it. I made the excuse. I don't want to deal with this tenant who's only paying $1,200 a month and have to either raise the rent or get him out, or I didn't want to deal with it. And he was willing to say, you know what? I'll take it. They're paying low rent. I don't care. I'll take it. And he took that tenant and he took them on and he got them, you know, he helped them move on to their next property. I mean, that tenant knew that they weren't going to be able to stay there for long at $1,200 a month. Luckily, that township is not rent controlled. So he was able to, you know, he could have been more aggressive with it, but he didn't raise the rent. He just said to him, hey, you know what? I need you to move along. Let me help you. Let me help you find a place. Let me pay your security deposit in the next place. Let's get you taken care of. And he did that for them. And he went through the pain of having that tenant for 6 months in order to get them out. And he went through that pain that I wasn't willing to go through to get a really good deal. Now, this next property that he's buying that was presented to me, and I again said, I made the excuse, I don't want to deal with this, right? And this property, the biggest issue with it, we had some roof leaks and had some water issues and needed a complete renovation. You know, the house was completely filled with crap, needed a huge renovation, and I didn't want to deal with it. I got enough things that I'm working on right now in my life. I said, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. And that's what made me think of him. And he got past that excuse, and he's now buying his 11th property. So that was the other one. And the other big thing is like, who would buy? The other thing is like to let the market be an excuse. And I was talking to him about this a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I really like this market. And he's like, even though I'm not quite cash flowing as much as I can in that market, I'm definitely going to be getting more appreciation, especially over time. And I'm young, and I'm going to keep these properties a long time. And like, he understands that even if the market takes a bit of a downturn, right, as long as he's able to keep the cash flow, as long as he has enough cash flow, and even if rents go down a little bit, even if the values go down a little bit, he knows that if he holds on to these properties, he's 24. When he is 54 years old, he's going to have, and that's if he stops right now, when he's 54 years old, he's going to have 11 properties free and clear, cash flowing, right? I don't know what a rent's going to be in 30 years. He's going to be 54 years old. If they're rented for now $2,500 a month, what are they going to be rented for? $4,000? He's going to be bringing in $3,000 a month times 10 properties is 30 grand plus a month in cash flow if he owns them free and clear, just from buying some houses, spending a couple years in his 20s picking up these houses. what a phenomenal asset real estate is. So I was just extremely inspired by this guy being 24 years old, just like taking charge, giving up any excuses, and just buying properties is phenomenal. So wanted to share that with you. Hopefully it's a little bit of an inspiration. Hopefully it helps you get past whatever your excuse is and get onto and buy a few rental properties. I mean, even if you purchase 1, 2, 3 rental properties long term, your financial picture is going to be much different once you reach retirement. So that being said, like and subscribe if you hung out for like 10 minutes now. I really appreciate it. Hopefully it was of some value to you. And the algorithm apparently helps if you do that good stuff, like and subscribe. And let's have a conversation in the comments below. How many properties have you purchased? And again, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching another episode of Chat with Chatto.